Hello, and welcome to another episode of the PMC podcast, where PMC stands for Project Management Conversations. As always, we dive deep into the world of project management with some of the brightest minds and thought leaders in the industry. But today, we are shaking things up a bit. We have Vivek with us today, who brings in a unique marketing perspective to the table, too. He is the founder and CEO of the marketing agency Orange Owl. Thanks for joining us today, Vivek.
My pleasure, Shoaib.
All right. So I stumbled upon an article by Vivek where he explored the concept of citizen development, specifically how it's being leveraged in marketing. And at first, I was a bit skeptical, uh, thinking it might be an unusual pairing to begin with. But what really caught my attention was the idea of citizen development, or CD, itself, especially since PMI has developed an entire educational suite around CD. So I figured who better than Vivek to break down what citizen development is all about, and more interestingly, how it's making waves in the world of marketing as well. So, Vivek, let's start off with the basics first, right? What exactly is citizen development?
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Shoaib. Thank you for inviting me and starting with what citizen development is. So basically, it's a practice where non-technical users are able to build software or automate their workflows related to their business using low-code, no-code tools without, like most of the times, without writing any tool or without depending on the IT teams. Because we know that today everything is getting automated. There's so much focus on digital transformation that every organization, every manager, every individual wants to become more efficient, more and do the cost savings, and we are looking at efficiency all the time. So while we are automating, if most of the time we go to our IT team, in especially large enterprises, we have to depend on the IT teams for such software or some automation, whether you are automating any workflow or you want an application to do a certain task. You are dependent on the IT team, and they get swarmed by so many requests that IT backlogs keep up, and they're not able to meet the requirements, and which impacts the productivity, efficiency, morale, everything for the team members or these non-technical individuals who have ideas of how to become efficient, but still at maybe mercy is a strong word, but yeah, dependent on the IT teams for bringing those automation to the business. But with low code, no code, that is where it changes the game, where you these non-technical business users can themselves automate their workflows and build some simple tools without having to depend on the IT team. So yeah, at principle, that is what citizen development is.
Okay, so we have basically democratized this software development process wherein anyone can come in, even business users can come in and develop and deploy application. Is that correct?
Absolutely, and that is where the word citizen is coming into it, right? So every
Right.
citizen can really become a developer now.
Now, okay, so the first thing that comes to my mind is, aren't there risks associated with this? Because end of the day, we are asking, or not really asking, but even non-technical folks are creating apps and deploying apps, and they might be customer facing as well, who knows. Isn't there a risk of, compliance and even the software development process itself?
Absolutely, there is a risk, and that is where the most talked about topic within the citizen development fraternity community is about how can you govern citizen development. But citizen development is real because it brings the kind of efficiency, the kind of productivity, the kind of innovation, right? Because
Mhm.
just imagine a scenario where I, as an individual, is empowered to try different tools and automate processes, build simple tools that can make me effective. So it creates so much space, opportunity for innovation. So, but yes, with that, with the scope for innovation, there is a threat, right? Where like you can build an app which has security leakages, or you can, without your intentions, you are maybe start transferring data outside your systems
Right.
or your network. So those issues are there, and that is where governance comes into picture. So primarily there are three kind of governance: centralized, decentralized, and hybrid. And hybrid is the more common thing, right?
Mm.
Within centralized, usually IT teams take full control on who will build, what apps have to be built. They review the apps idea, and then they approve. They see they are involved in the design stage of how it is being designed. So basically they have full control, which
Okay.
is good thing. So then you are taking care of the risk that you just mentioned, but then it
Mhm.
still stifles the creativity, the innovation, because if for everything I have to depend on IT, it is not a good idea. Versus the other extreme where it is totally decentralized, where I have full freedom. Some tools have been approved maybe by IT team that okay, you can use Airtable, you can use Quixie, you can use OutSystems as the no code low code tools, and you can build anything and you want. But then if IT is not supervising and seeing what is being done, and if the compliance security checks are not happening, then it can lead to the issues that we are talking about. And that is where industry is trying to find that hybrid solution, where you can actually create, the IT team can create the guidelines, the policies, the standards that are required for where they are not worried about that what are citizen developers doing with this.
Mm.
So they approve the tools, they set out the guidelines, they set out the standards, the guidelines and everything. And then the teams responsibly follows those guidelines and everything and build apps. And IT team on on a regular frequency can monitor what's happening, what kind of apps are getting built. Sometimes it's
Mm.
not just about security, right? It is about are people building the same apps? So let us say you
Mm.
have a company that is spread across geographies. So one location is building apps while other location is building similar apps. So that is redundancy, right? So that kind of coordination to make sure that we are creating that community within the organization. We are involving all the stakeholders where we know what is being built and everybody can maximize the usage of those tools. Yeah,
Perfect,
is
perfect.
very.
And I also heard you mention some of the tools that are used, the low code, no code tools that can be used to deploy apps. What are some of the most popular ones that you see?
There are so many. If you would have
Mm.
asked me this question a couple of years ago, I could have counted them on my fingertips.
Mm.
But now there are so many tools, and literally any existing tools that are there, right? They are actually adding low code,
Ah,
no code, or drag drop, as we call them, components to
okay.
their tools, because they understand, right, that there cannot be one tool, right, that can meet all needs. So one
Mm.
size fits all solutions don't work anymore. Every business is unique, every business department process is unique. So we as users want that okay, I do my workflow. Look at content publishing workflow, right, for a marketing team. So we do it differently versus what other company might do. So we want that flexibility.
Mhm.
But
All right.
if I have to name a few, like Airtable is a very powerful tool in bigger enterprise tools, Agile Point, OutSystems, Mendix. In
Mhm.
mid-size, even though Quixie handles enterprises also, Quixie is a great tool where
Okay.
you can build process-centric and data-centric applications. There are a lot of tools.
Mhm. Perfect, perfect. So all of this sounds great, right? But we are still talking about development, we are talking about code, we are talking about apps. How in the world does marketing find a place in all of this?
So see, I try to generalize a little bit more than just code, right? So the idea
Mhm.
is like, can you do things on your own, right,
Mm.
as an
Yeah.
individual?
Perfect.
Because any tool, anytime I have to use a tool, earlier it used to be going to somebody. But can I find a tool myself? Can I customize it myself? Can I use it? Can I integrate it with other systems and start using it? So think of it like, let us take an example of a website. Earlier websites were coded, right? People had to learn HTML, CSS, and there are so many other new technologies that you want to know if you have to do a website. But with WordPress, right? I today I like I myself come up with the write the blogs. I go, I publish them, I do SEO. So everything. So within WordPress, there are so many plugins available.
Mm.
Whether you want to do a TOC, whether within your blog you want to insert a meme, you want to insert a poll, right? You want to insert a widget to make people sign up for your newsletter. You want to
Right.
put a pop-up alert. So all those things I'm able to do as a non-technical user. I'm able to design my blog, right, and do an SEO audit on top of it and publish it myself. So
Mm.
that whole process itself is very, very powerful for me, empowering for me, right? I don't have to depend. Otherwise, I would have depended upon 2 3 people. And look at that whole content publishing process only, creating graphics, right? Earlier we had to go to a graphic designer who would use
Right.
something, some Adobe tool or something, but now I'm doing everything in Canva myself,
Right.
right? So some of these tools have a earlier had an element of coding. Some of them didn't, but they were still very specialized tool where you had to depend on an external team or a specialist to do that. But
Mm.
now, without learning how to do create a graphic in Adobe, you know how easy it is to do anything in Canva, and we
Right.
know from growth of Canva how it has become such a useful tool for any department, I would say. And but
Perfect.
marketing, yeah. So there are a lot of examples. Now I would give one more example. Like if you're talking about a whole content workflow, right? So, and for SaaS companies, you know how SaaS is growing and inbound marketing is a big thing for us. So we
Mhm.
have to write a lot of blogs to generate that inbound traffic. We have to do our keyword research, right? Coming up with all the keywords, topics, figuring out what is the traffic, what is the search volume, what is the difficulty level. Then we create a pipeline of all these blogs. Then we work with some in-house content writers, some are freelancers, some are consultants. We assign it to them. They work on them. They have questions. We go back and forth. They submit it. Then it goes to a graphic designer. He does it. Then it goes to an SEO guy. He does the SEO optimization. Then it comes to a reviewer who does a final review. Then somebody publishes. Then it goes to somebody to a promoter who posts it in different guest posts or creates multi-purposes the content and post it on social media or different things happen. So this whole content workflow, how do you automate it? It's a BPM process, right? So it's my business process in my marketing team that for every customer, wherever we are doing, we need that automation. So yeah, in earlier days, we could not have done it with no code tools, right? But with no code, low code
Mm.
tools, you can automate this entire workflow with any platform, right? And like
Right.
we did it quickly and it was so seamless. But there are workflow automation platforms that you can do, and not just automating this workflow, right? So once your blog is posted, or if you want to create social media post out of it, you can integrate through Zapier or direct API integrations with the social platform tools, and from within the workflow you can trigger posting of all those
Mm.
social posts
On
campaigns.
different platforms.
Or if you want to include them in email, you can trigger emails through all those integrations. So it's literally a full-blown software, content management software that you are using all these no-code, low-code tools, and non-technical users like me or anybody in my team can do it themselves.
Perfect, perfect. That's a great real world example of how these tools are basically being used in marketing as well. You've touched upon one thing around prototyping as well on one of your articles. What exactly is prototyping? Is it like drafting certain marketing material and then testing it, or is it something totally different?
No, so prototyping earlier without a no-code, low-code tools, how were you doing prototyping? I I I I think I used to use a tool called Smart Draw, right? So
Okay.
all you could do was put some screenshots, design some screenshots in some tool, let it be any design tool, and put some manual navigations to show how
Mm.
this whole application works. So that is
All
how
right.
prototyping for a software used to happen a little while ago. But with low-code, no-code tools, there are simple tools where you can build these prototypes, like even for a small CRM or something, in a matter of days or weeks or under a month, right? Then maybe your full-blown product or a thing you don't want to develop on a
You
no-code,
don't
low-code
need.
tool, but
Okay. Mm.
no-code, low-code gives you the power to at least validate your ideas, build an
Mm.
actual working prototype, which is not just a mock-up, and get your feedback, whether you want to show it to your friends, your colleagues, or you want to show it to
Awesome.
investors. They are so powerful there, where you can build it very quickly, validate, make changes, revalidate, and get to a stage where you know whether
Mm.
it's going to work or not work. And then with that final prototype, you can go and do your real development. But
Right.
now with powerful tools like enterprise product tools, it doesn't stop at prototyping. You can actually build your actual product tools on
Wow.
on on these platforms.
Wow. So, yeah, I mean, when you talked about prototyping, it was more about just the front end of maybe an app or a website. But now you're mentioning that increasingly there is a way to basically do the back end work as well within these
Absolutely.
tools. Wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So again, because my experiences with Quixie in my past organization, so you can do literally like, and you can build enterprise grade applications
Wow.
with platforms like Quixie. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So let's say I am a marketing firm or I am a small guy trying to get myself into marketing. What are some of the tools that I can make use of? I think you've already mentioned like Canva is one, you've already mentioned prototyping is one. But is there any specific area within my work that I think this would be a first good small step to start using, low code, no code tools?
I would not know, but see, there are marketing. For us, it is a small thing, but it actually has so many specialties built. Like you have a
Right.
social media, you have like copywriters handling emails. So
Mm,
I would say use any tool, right? For
mm,
emails, you don't have to do them through your own Outlook or Gmail. There are email marketing tools. We know them, right? But I'm saying like a one powerful tool I would say is Airtable, right? You
okay.
can build your content calendars, your social media calendars, everything within the tool. And with integrations, you can actually trigger posting those posts through Airtable. Again, if
Mm,
you are looking at any workflow automation, I gave you an example of how content or blog publishing happens. Then tools like Wixie can be very powerful. If you want to even go beyond, make more complex applications where all the marketing functions you want to operate and build kind of a custom ERP for your marketing function, you can
mm,
use like, you can use Quixie, or you can use other tools like OutSystems,
got it.
Edge Point, and all those will help. But think of it, Canva, WordPress, right?
Mm,
All these tools are like WordPress. I'm really, because as I want to be able to make changes myself, right? I should not be dependent on, I want to make some changes
mm,
to the copy, right? Now, again, it should not be a big process for me to now go and can you please update this page and do that. I'm able
mm.
to do it myself, the copy, or if there's a blog, or if you have to write a case study. It's so simple. It's all simple drag and drop.
Awesome. Awesome. So great. I'm done with my questions. Loved your answers. I would, before we close, I would definitely like you to talk a bit about Orange Owl, what it does, and how it all started for you.
So Orange Owl is my marketing company. So it was born from the passion that I developed for marketing over the last 10 years. And I worked with a startup where we actually started from scratch and took the company and which is now at a scaling stage. So during that whole period, and it's a B2B SaaS. I felt that I learned the playbook, and I was very confident that I can do a great job if I help more companies. And so that is where I wanted to explore and how can I help, because what I have also learned during this journey is that there are so many entrepreneurs who have such great ideas for product and services
Mm,
but struggle on the marketing and sales side. So I thought that this is an opportunity for me, because I now understand the playbook for B2B SaaS, so
wow.
that I can help such founders. And there's so much focus on SaaS right now. The SaaS market is booming. So I wanted to come out and do a marketing agency specifically for SaaS. And within SaaS
Mm,
also, my current focus is around GTM, content marketing, SEO, on page, off page, and performance
mm,
marketing. So I want to keep my focus on these 4 or 5 services and just focus on B2B SaaS. And there also I'll see if I can pick a particular vertical, so that I can build my domain experience, domain knowledge, and then I'll be able to help even those organizations better. So that is my current focus. But yeah, it's all born out of whatever I learned and the passion that I developed for marketing, and that is where actually
awesome.
the orange owl came from. So orange stands for passion, and owl stands for wisdom and knowledge. So
Wow.
that is how
Love
the
it.
name was born.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time out today, Vivek. Really appreciate it. I'm sure our community will find this podcast helpful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I absolutely loved being with you on this chat.